So our final bravada of the evening. Cole has, as I mentioned, Cole's spoken here, I think maybe twice before. Cole is an author, he's a broadcaster, he's many, many things. He's speaking at this year's Book Fest. So can we please welcome to the stage our final bravada of the evening, Cole Moreton.
Thank you very much, Tim. Well done, Brian. Blimey. It's a hard one to follow, isn't it? And thank you, Lynn, for talking about me and we earlier, because as you said, I have got triplets, and yeah, that was a handful, let me tell you. Joshua, Ruby and Grace, but before they had names, or before they were aware of their names, they swarmed. Like, so you'd be like, you'd be down one end of the garden or something, playing with one of them, and it would take about 10 seconds for the others to clock, wherever they were in the house, that this was happening. They didn't have to see it, or they didn't have to say anything, they didn't have to hear anything, they would just know. And then they would come swarming down to the other end of the garden where the first one was. It's very disconcerting, to tell you the truth. I can tell you now that they're 20, 20 and 20, and they do not swarm anymore. I discovered making a documentary about them, as you do, because as well as being children, they are, of course, fodder and material. And I made a documentary about them, and I discovered that if they are identical, they have a primary drive to stay together, which is why, I don't know if you saw that documentary about the guys who were separated in America. The tragedy of that is that it was some sort of social experiment, but for an identical set of triplets, the drive is to be together. I can confidently report from all over the country that is not the case with non-identical triplets. Their primary drive is to escape and to be themselves. And this is not my bavard talk, I was just talking because Lynn did so well, right? So I better get to the point, hadn't I? Sorry, yes, okay, right, yes, the point. I want to take you back. It is London, 2012. And we are in the Olympic Stadium. Actually, can we do something? You know what, I mean, we all know what a Mexican wave is, right? It probably should be called something else. So let's call it a Frida Kahlo wave, okay? Could we do a quick one? And I'll explain why in a minute. Start over here. Oh, that's listless, isn't it? Come on. Right, okay. I'm gonna ask you to refine it slightly. Okay, I mean, it was pathetic, but I'm gonna gloss over that. I'm gonna ask you to refine it slightly. So, when you go up, okay, I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Wayne's World, right? Way back. But they have that thing that they do, which is the kind of we are not worthy kind of gesture, where they go forward like that. So I want you to add that to the top of your gesture. So you're going up, and then you're going like that. Okay? Dan's going to kick it off. I need Dan. There you go. That's it. Now we're getting somewhere. Right. Give yourself a round of applause if you participated. If you didn't participate, then hang your head in shame. So, the reason for that will become obvious. Where was I? We're in the stadium. The noise is incredible. 60,000 humans shouting, screaming, bellowing, shrieking, pleading with the skies in favour of one man, all willing him to win. If you throw in the roar of a jet engine, jungle beasts in the night, migrating birds and the crash of waves, you get some idea of the extraordinary sound being generated by the crowd. In the new Olympic Stadium in the East End of London at the Games of 2012, as the 5,000 metre running race reaches a climax and the home hero has a chance to win. It's hard to think, it's hard even to breathe, but who can breathe right now? Everyone is breathless, on their feet or on their toes, looking down into the arena at the orange track encircling a field of green, all bright and shining under floodlights, and 15 figures moving fast through the iridescence, tight together as if fleeing from a common foe. But all eyes are on the one in the white vest and blue shorts, a slender man with a sloping gait who is quite possibly the greatest British athlete of all time. And is now attempting to prove it, when it really matters, at the finale of the sporting event of the century, in this country anyway, a show so huge we've run out of hyperbole. Mohamed Farah, as we know him in the summer of 2012, and everybody knows the story, that he was born in Somalia 29 years ago, taken to Djibouti to escape the chaos of a civil war, brought to London to be with his dad at the age of 8, barely speaking a word of English at first, growing up in West London, playing, laughing, learning, dreaming of becoming a car mechanic or a striker for Arsenal, working in McDonald's in the meantime, but running and running and running and winning school title after school title until he's getting help with his training, becoming a British citizen, working his way, without knowing it, towards this moment, the here and now, the climax of a golden summer. We've learned to call him Mo, this spark of fire, of pride and optimism. And here he is now, as the games approach their end, still holding the hopes of a nation in his metronomic heart, down there in the centre of the light, steady in the middle of a fight. The running pack is tight. There are fears the others will gang up on him, crowd him out, do whatever it takes to deny him a second gold medal. But that is patriotic paranoia talking. They're just out to win as much as he is. And Mo's been at the back, but I just saw a wise mum away to my left lean over and shout in the ear of a panicking dad, "It's okay, Mo knows what he's doing." And we hope so, as the message is passed on to their kid. We really hope so. We mums and dads and sons and daughters, flag wavers and bearers of homemade placards. We chanters and screamers, we jumpers and shufflers, the overexcited and the playing it cool and the dizzy from the noise and the ones who are dazed by the head-spinning intensity of this moment. And the screams come harder, faster, higher, and I see what they're doing. A Mexican wave in the crowd, of course, as we've seen so often here, a great sweep of human movement. As people rise up and turn around the stadium, raise their hands and salute, then sit down again to watch the waves sweep on. But this one's different. At the top of the wave, as they stand, they call out his name and bow down and stretch out their hands towards Mo, in the gesture from Wayne's World, which says, "We are not worthy. Let's do it." Oh, yeah, exactly. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? This is done with a strange, supernatural sense of collective timing. So the rise and the fall and the call are done just ahead of where Mo's running. Maybe 50 feet, maybe 100 feet, but just ahead of where he's running. So as the crowd goes up and like that, and shouts out, "Mo!" it seems as if the crowd is actually sucking him around the track. Somehow the energy created by the crowd is somehow pulling him faster and faster and faster towards a real peak, a real speed that he's not done before. It's like we're doing it with him. So when the bell rings for the final lap and Mo's in second place, we know he will go. And so he does, up to first. And now he's leading with the pride of Kenya and Ethiopia in his wake. And they've been running for a dozen minutes, but this is a sprint finish. And Mo has more. He's all out now, crossing the line, a winner, looking astonished, arms and eyes open wide, as if he can't believe it. We can't believe it. And the noise? Never heard anything like that, or felt anything like that collective release. What a race! What a race! What a man! The woman next to me, the reporter next to me, is jumping up and down. She is Estonian. Doesn't seem to matter. What a race! The Jamaicans are going nuts down the front, because I don't know if you clocked this at the time, but Mo and Usain Bolt had a thing going on, and after he had broken a record in the 200 metres, Usain Bolt got down and did press-ups. Of course he did. So Mo at this moment of great victory, got down on the track and did sit-ups. You don't know whether to embrace them or hate them sometimes, do you? And Mo's wife is down the front, heavily pregnant with twins, and heaven only knows how she doesn't have them right there and then. And in comes the thunder of a song we've heard so many times now at these games, which Dan was playing earlier. David Bowie singing "We Can Be Heroes." How strange to hear that howl of anguish used as a rallying cry for British athletes, and yet it makes sense in this summer of transformation. Muslims are terrorists, the British have been told, falsely, subliminally, explicitly, since 9/11 and 7/7. But here is a British Muslim kneeling to kiss the track and raising his hands to Allah, while the crowd continues to chant his name. And seconds later, he's trotting along the perimeter, high-fiving kids, posing for pictures, being showered with love, wrapped in the Union flag, and we are all being remade in this beautiful moment. And here he is on the podium. Years on. Wonder what good it all did, really. Well, the legacy of the Olympics really was, and what it taught us, other than it's possible for the people of this fractured, troubled, proud country to have a good time, to act with generosity and kindness, to see each other and treat each other as equals. And that's not nothing, is it? I've been making this podcast, which will be a book next year, called Can We Talk, which is a set of true stories, short stories about encounters with remarkable people. And in series 1, there was Scarlett Johansson and Tiger Woods and Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu and the Queen and a refugee called Zara who came across the channel on a little rubber boat early one Christmas morning, because we are all the same. Under our finery, our rags, or our Stella McCartney running gear. And I've learned as much in my life from someone like Zara as I have from someone famous like Sir Mo, or rather, Hussein Abdi Kahin. Because as we've just found out, the story he told us about himself was not true. He was a victim of child trafficking, brought to the UK under false pretenses by someone who ripped up all evidence of connection with his real family, gave him fake papers and a new name. Hussein, now Mohammed, was made to clean this stranger's house and look after children and act as a servant, and not allowed to go to school until the age of 12, when teachers were told to lie. And he said, the only thing I could do to get away from this was to run and run. And as the race winds piled up, the young athlete felt able to confide in his PE teacher, and that man intervened, and social services were contacted and told the truth. And he was placed with a foster family from Somalia, and his life began to improve. And the boy was granted British citizenship under the name Mohammed Farah, so he continued to use the name. And now the truth is out publicly. The Home Office has said it will take no action because children are not responsible for what happens to them, which is a rare case of common sense and justice prevailing, because let's be honest, if he was not famous, if he was not Sir Mo, if he was not the Knight of the Realm, there is more than enough evidence to suggest he might not be treated this way. And yet, it is among the best ideas we have had as humans that everyone is equal and equally loved, equally lovable. Therefore, we should love each other equally. And briefly, for a while, in the summer of 2012, as the Olympics became the Paralympics, we acted together like we knew that. And it was great. And I remember Mohammed Farah sitting in the press room after the win, being asked by a reporter if he wouldn't have been, rather have been, running for Somalia. And I remember the intake of breath from those of us who thought we understood, and the look of hurt on his face for a moment, with a secret backstory none of us knew, before he answered with a wide smile and a deep grace, "Not at all, mate. This is my country. So I'm going to leave you with the sound of the crowd in the London Stadium as it is now, singing the national anthem for Sir Mo, for ourselves. And honestly, I've heard it a lot of times, but I've never heard it like this. Thank you.